So for question 48, we're asked to find the molar solubility of silver sulfate in water in grams per liter, given that the KSP of silver sulfate is 1.2 times 10 to the minus 5. And so to answer this question, well, first we should start with writing out what is our reaction to consider. So sulfate is 2 minus, silver is always +1, so I need to have 2 silvers to balance that out. So when that ionizes, when my solid silver sulfate ionizes, I'm going to get 2 silvers at +1 each, and I'm going to get 1 sulfate, SO4, 2 minus. So that would make my KSP expression concentration of silver squared times my concentration of sulfate. We know the KSP, right? We know KSP is 1.2 times 10 to the minus 5. My concentration of silver, well, that's going to be 2x, and sulfate would be x, because that's the ratio they appear. So I got 2x squared times my concentration of the sulfate. So that's going to give me 1.2 times 10 to the minus 5 equals 4x cubed. When I square that and then multiply the two together, divide both sides by 4, and I get 3 times 10 to the minus 6 equals x cubed. All right, I can't take the cubic root in my head, unfortunately. Take the cubic root of both sides, and I get x equals 1.44 times 10 to the minus 2. X, in this case, happens to be my concentration of sulfate. That also happens to be the molar solubility of silver sulfate, Ag2SO4. Because for every 1 silver sulfate that goes in solution, I'm going to have 1 sulfate. So that concentration of sulfate equals my concentration of silver sulfate that went into solution. So now I've got 1.44 times 10 to the minus 2 molar silver sulfate in solution. So 1.44 times 10 to the minus 2, molarity is moles per liter, and I'm looking for this in grams per liter. So I need the molar mass, and so that's why I asked to look up the molar mass, right? The molar mass of silver sulfate is 311.7, we'll just say 0.8 grams per mole. So, all right, I want moles to cancel out, and I'm gonna be left with grams. So I know for every 1 mole of silver sulfate, I need 311.8 grams, right? So moles cancel out. We're gonna multiply by 311.8, and I get a mass of about 4.5 grams of silver sulfate could go into solution.